Today, a Vermont and an across-the-fence tradition. We'll meet the state's maple ambassadors and find out what they do and why they do it. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for choosing Across the Fence. I'm Will Michael. This is always a fun and informative program, and it's certainly symbolic of springtime in Vermont. For as far back as I can remember, Across the Fence has featured the state's maple ambassadors. Now, the ambassadors, one male and one female, are chosen each year at the Maple Festival in St. Albans. And today we're going to meet the two ambassadors who were selected at the 2018 festival. Now, to be clear, two new ambassadors will be selected at the 53rd Annual Maple Festival, which is coming up on April 26, 27, and 28 in St. Albans. And for more information on the festival, including information on how to become a Maple Ambassador, you can just check the website that's on your screen, vtmaplefestival.org. Now, here are the current ambassadors. Michelle Poulin is from Brookfield, and she currently attends Vermont Technical College. And alongside Michelle is Mark Turco Jr. Mark is from Mount Holly, Vermont, and he's working full-time at General Electric while he's attending Vermont Technical College. We want to say congratulations to both of you, and thanks very much for coming in. It's great to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tell us how one becomes a Maple Ambassador, Michelle.
So the first thing you do is you obviously go to the website, and then there's an application that you have to fill out that's just going kind of your age and just basic information, and then you fill out a written response just talking about what your involvement in maple is. Then you need a letter of recommendation from someone that's involved in the industry, and then after that you go to an interview process, and they sit down and talk to you for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then from there they select who wins, and then you're.
So this is like more intense than college selection for you guys.
Yeah, it's pretty involved.
And you're also learning a lot, I suspect, maybe about yourself. There's a written component. You've got to talk with people who are judging you, so it's fascinating.
Yeah, it really is. It's good too, like being in as a Maple Ambassador, going to all these events and getting knowledge out to people that they really don't have a clue what's going on in the maple industry, and they think you tap a tree and syrup's on the table, but.
We're going to get to some of that, but you read my mind about some of the events. I have some inside information. What are the things that you guys are doing throughout the course of your tenure as a Vermont Maple Ambassador?
Well, we got invites from all these different counties, like they do fairs and stuff, so I got invites from Addison, Champlain Valley. So I went up there for the weekend, worked a shift at Addison and Champlain, you know, just talking with the public coming in, making milkshakes, just talking to people.
Spinning cotton candy.
Spinning cotton candy,
Yep.
selling candies.
Yep.
Just talking to people about maple sugaring and my background into it.
And Michelle, you and I were talking before we got started specifically about being at the Eastern States Exposition down in West Springfield, Mass. That's quite an experience.
There's a lot of people. I think, didn't they break a world? They
Yeah,
broke a record
they
on
broke
Attendance
Saturday.
record.
On
Yep.
the Saturday we were there, and I mean you're there all day. We didn't leave till like 1 in the morning. So.
And this is a key part. Again, I want to stress this is what you do. You are maple educators, and you're representing Vermont, whether you're at your home county fairs and field days or whether you're at something like the Eastern States. So what kinds of questions do you get? What kinds of things do you tell people? What are the conversations like?
I think the main one that I got was honestly what maple syrup was. Like, I think there's a lot of confusion about, is it like all natural or is there sugar added? That was
Yeah.
a big one, and it's like, no, you get the sap from the tree, you boil it down, and this is maple syrup. And most maple products that are made after that point are just cooked to a different temperature, and then that's what.
So that's kind of a very big deal, is having people understand. Even the FDA, right, the Food and Drug Administration, wanted to add added sugar, and so to be able to explain to people this is a natural product, all we do is boil it.
Yep.
Now, starting over again with Mark, and we'll come back to Michelle. Tell viewers a little bit about your family history as it relates to sugaring. This is a long time thing. It's something you and your dad or you and your mom started. Fill us in a little bit.
My dad, back in the early 80s, he was in shop class in high school, and he built his first evaporator out of an old 55-gallon drum. and he had, I don't know, 50, 100 taps. And he sat out on my grandma's lawn and he'd boil. And then it kind of got into his blood, you know.
It happens that way, I understand, yeah.
He's like, oh, you know, I'll do 1,000 taps. And then that went to 2,000 taps. Then they went to 5,000 taps. And within the last 10 years or so, we've been adding out. And this year we're just a touch over 11,000 taps. But to Dad, it's just a hobby, you know. He does work full time on top of that.
You did share with us a few pictures, and so you've gotten to the point in your operation, as I understand it, maybe that it is a little more than just a family operation?
Yeah, we do have a few guys come and help us tap during this time of the season. It's definitely, it's a lot of work, you know. Like I said, full-time jobs on top of this is like...
So give a quick shout out. Who are we seeing here?
Right there's my dad on the left, I'm in the middle, and my younger brother Austin is on the right.
Okay, so it is a family affair, and then as we go on to the next one, we see that it's not only a family business, but you do bring in some seasonal or part-time employees?
Yep.
Okay. Michelle, we talked again a little bit earlier before we got started. I did learn that the sash that says Maple Ambassador, there's one in your sugar house that says Maple King. The program for our viewers used to be the Maple King and Queen. It's now the Maple Ambassadors. So this sash is something that's been part of your family, so I know that sugaring just didn't start last week.
Nope. So my dad started out pretty much kind of like Mark's dad right out of high school. He had a few taps, and then he expanded probably in his 20s and started tapping a little over 1,000 trees. And then he also won the Maple King Award, I believe, in '94. So he spent kind of like I'm doing the whole year talking about the maple industry. Then the whole time I was growing up, we had about 1,500 taps, and it was pretty much him. And then me and my sister, we used to hang out after school in a little cabin in the woods and wait for him to get done. And then we started getting older, and then we started helping him out, and mostly just ran and got him stuff that he didn't want to go and get himself on the four-wheeler. But
Michelle, is your operation all within the family, or have you gotten to the point where you are also bringing in some part-time help?
we have someone that's part-time help,
Yep.
just for tapping pretty much, and then checking vacuum throughout the years. We've expanded to about 7,000 taps now. And with that, we also have our own beef farm, so we're a little busy, so we
Just
do
a little
have
bit.
Yep, so we do have to bring in some help just to again tap with tapping. And
Do you have a favorite part of the sugaring season, or a favorite part of the process? Besides the end product, of course.
I do like tapping. It's nice when you have a warm, nice day. It's nice when you drill into a tree just to see that sap's actually running. And most of the time the woods are really quiet, and it's just nice to be out there with your family and working, getting something done.
How about
So.
you, Mark? Is there a traditional part that you're attracted to?
It's all pretty fun. It's pretty much the four of us, my mom, my dad, and my brother and I. We're in the woods most weekends now from probably December on. It's nice, you know, the woods is our peaceful place, you know. You go there, you're working, but it's just, I don't know, it's hard to explain unless you're out there.
Sure. But is there an aspect of sugaring that you want people to know more about? This is, in a way, what you've been doing for the last year, is educating people. So is there a piece today that you want people to know more about?
I think a lot of the problem that I've seen throughout the whole year is seeing people don't really know how syrup comes from the tree to the table. They don't understand the process, and there's a lot to it, you know.
As natural as it is, there is a lot to it.
There's a lot to it.
Especially with today's technology.
Exactly. There's more science behind it than people really think. You know, having a reverse osmosis cuts time. Today's efficiency with steam aways, you would go back 50 years and people in old tin pans would be like, I can't even, you know, but.
With a couple of minutes left, I wonder, and I'm guessing the answer to this is yes, that both of you see yourselves in the Vermont maple industry well into the future?
Yeah, for sure.
And as you do that, concerns that you have, whether those are environmental concerns or equipment concerns, or I know a lot of people talk about changing climate. Are there things that you're concerned about the industry as it moves forward?
You see a lot of people getting really interested in sugaring, you know, and we're climbing. We are #1 in the nation.
Absolutely.
So that's pretty cool. But there's definitely a lot of people getting into it, and having guys that have been in it for a long time, you know, being able to reach out and help people in need, you know, with questions. I mean, there's a lot of cool things that go on that some people don't know about. So
I'm going to turn over to Michelle again. We just have a little bit of time left. The same question, as you look to the future, because you guys are the future of the Vermont maple industry. What are your thoughts, Michelle?
So I think the biggest thing is just reaching out. Kind of the whole purpose of the Maple Ambassador program is to reach out and talk to the public about what's going on. You see that all in agriculture, that people don't know. They've kind of been disconnected. They don't come from small family farms now. We have large cities, and people want the product, but they don't know what's going on with it. And I think that's probably the biggest concern, that you just need to get out there and talk to people. And then there is quite a bit of interest in the industry, and people are getting really big. And not that there's a problem with that, but for someone just starting out, they might have to look into the more like niche marketing,
Right.
which is completely fine. I mean, you don't see many people out there with horse and buggies now, but those can bring in a lot of tourists, which is really good for people's businesses. So I think if you're going to be smart about it, you just have to look to different options, and again, talk to people is probably the biggest one. So
I need to stop us there as we're just about out of time. It's very clear to me why you guys were selected as our Maple Ambassadors. Very well spoken, and I appreciate your time for being with us.
thank you.
thank you.
For more information about becoming a Maple Ambassador, check the website for the upcoming Vermont Maple Festival in St. Albans. The website right there on the screen, and you can also call 524-5800. That's to become a Maple Ambassador, or just to look forward to the Maple Festival. That is our program for today. We know you have choices, so thanks for choosing us. I'm Will Michael, inviting you to join us back here each weekday afternoon for another visit across the fence.